तव कथामृतम् तप्तजीवनम् कविभिरीडितम् कल्मषापहम् श्रवणमङ्गलम् श्रीमदाततम् भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः।
ॐ तव कथामृतं तप्तजीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जना। We have started studying Sri Ramakrishna, the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, which is the translation in English of Sri Ramakrishna Kathāmrita, recorded by Master Mashay or Mahendranāth Gupta or M or Mohini Mohan or Mani or a devotee. In this way he has hidden himself. And we are in the second day of the mutual meeting. And before I start today, I want to tell you something. Of course, we will come to that point that in translation, we miss many things. There are certain words which are not even found in Bengali dictionary. The words have been coined by Sri Ramakrishna himself, and there is no English equivalent of those words. And whatever translation has been made, translation might not have been wrong, but they totally miss the force or the bhav or the idea conveyed by those words. I will tell you that when we come to. Now here we see that the second meeting was after 2 days after the first meeting. Though we do not find a clear mention in even in the Bengali book, but as Master Mashay knew it, so in the English translation made by him, he has said a couple of days later. And we had inferred it because when he is going back, he is saying tomorrow or day after I would come here. So a couple of days later, M's second visit to Sri Ramakrishna took place on the southern veranda at 8 o'clock in the morning. He has explained southern and western verandas, so he has not described it here. Southern veranda of Sri Ramakrishna's room, of course, at 8 o'clock in the morning. The master, that is all the historical placing. The master was about to be shaved, the barber having just arrived. As the cold season still lingered, he had put on a moleskin shawl bordered with red. Seeing him, the master said, "So you have come, that's good." So Thakur had remembered that Master Mashay had gone. And though while asking where you live and all that, he had become absent-minded, but that he had come and Thakur had told him, come again. So it has, that calling him has fructified. So he says, so you have come, that's good. Good because the spiritual life has to begin. And Sri Ramakrishna later on told us that he had recognized Master Mashe as a devotee belonging to previous incarnations. He said that he had seen him in the Chaitanya's Nagar Sankirtan. So he has recognized him as one of his own. And so he is happy that he has come. That's good. So good means so many things here. One is that I had invited you, you have come. Second is that I have recognized you and you have come. Third is that, as Sri Ramakrishna told Swami Vivekananda later on, that in the beginning, the visit should be frequent so that the impressions gather properly. So in so many ways, he says that is good. Sit down here. So he is confirming his invitation. Master has not asked his permission, shall I sit? But he says, sit down here. So I would talk to you. Though you are seeing that I am going to be shaved by the barber, but that should not deter you from going away or I will come later. He wants to talk to him even when the barber is there. He was smiling. The smile we shall see is from the beginning to end. Every time is Ananda Swarup. He was not smiling at something. He was smiling. He stammered a little when he spoke. So from outside, he does not have a special power of oratory. He stammers. Sri Ramakrishna to M. Where do you live? So we shall see these questions are of 2-3 types. First is appears general. But as we proceed, we will find they aim at making master, the teacher, as dearer and nearer as own people. So this questioning is going on. That is M. So he has called himself M. Even in the author of the book, it is mentioned M. In Calcutta, sir, Sri Ramakrishna, where are you staying here? Because he knows that he has come from Baranagar. In the previous day, he has told him. M. I am at Baranagar at my older sister's Ishan Kaviraj's house. Okay, in Bengali, it is a special word. It does not require a qualificatory word like older. Didi is older sister. If sister is younger, it is born. So it is in Hindi also it is like that. So it is a speciality of some languages. So with my older sister, Ishan Kaviraj's house. We have seen yesterday that Kaviraj means the Ayurvedic doctor. Sri Ramakrishna. Oh, at Ishan's. This immediately tells us that Sri Ramakrishna knows Ishan, and a common relation or acquaintance will make Master Mahasaya feel that he has not come to a stranger. Well, how is Keshav now? He was very ill. This we see as inquiring about his spiritual inclinations, whether he has any spiritual inclination or not. He was very ill, and indeed, I have heard so too, but I believe he is well now. So, though Keshav was relation to Master Mahasaya, he does not seem to have taken keener interest in Keshav. He was going to Brahma Samaj, we shall come to know later, but he has not shown any special spiritual inclination because he has come out of depression, and that is due to worldly things. And though he has felt the attraction from Sri Ramakrishna, he has not yet stepped on spiritual life. Sri Ramakrishna tells that Keshav is very dear to me. He is the medium. I made a vow to worship the mother with green coconut and sugar on Keshav's recovery. Sometimes in the early hours of the morning, I would wake up and cry before her. Mother, please make Keshav well again. If Keshav doesn't live, whom shall I talk with when I go to Calcutta? Because Keshav was the center through which he was talking to others. Later on, when his own devotees came, it was different, and Balaram became the main place of visiting. And so it was that I resolved to offer her the green coconut and sugar. Tell me another question. Do you know of a certain Mr. Cook who has come to Calcutta? Is it true that he is giving lectures? Once Keshav took me on a steamer, and this Mr. Cook too was in the party. So, whether he is influenced by Christian ideas? Yes, sir, I have heard something like this, but I have never been to his lectures. I don't know much about him. So here also it has misfired. Sri Ramakrishna. Pratap's brother came here. He stayed a few days. He had nothing to do and said he wanted to live here. I came to know that he had left his wife and children with his father-in-law. He has a whole brood of them. So I took him to task. Just fancy, he is the father of so many children. Will people from the neighborhood feed them and bring them up? He isn't even ashamed that someone else is feeding his wife and children and that they have been left at his father-in-law's house. So it is a matter of shame. I scolded him very hard and asked him to look for a job. Then he was willing to live here. So this apparently irrelevant talk is very relevant because it foreshadows that there should not be this angle of escaping from the world's problems by going to a so-called spiritual man. And that is why we find in, I won't count the percent, but in a very heavy percent of people, only when they find trouble in the worldly life, they take recourse to some Baba, Bua, some man declaring he has spiritual powers, he has supernatural powers. So that should not be anything of that type with Sri Ramakrishna. Now, from here, that up to that we had read yesterday. So from here, some direct questions about his mental makeup, get-up, position at that time, so that Sri Ramakrishna can guide him properly. And he is asking, are you married? Now, in the question, what is there? Sri Ramakrishna thinks that as M has come, Sri Ramakrishna will have to guide him in spiritual life. And the path is different for an unmarried man and a married man. In Sri Ramakrishna's mind, the very clear distinction how to guide a married man and how to guide an unmarried man. The goal of life is same for all humanity. But the position from the start is very different. And that is the main importance of Hinduism traditional and main importance of Sri Ramakrishna's teaching. For example, all other religions, I am not talking of only Christianity or Islam, but within Hinduism, the Vaishnavas, ISKCON, and so many others, they are ready to give one type of teaching to everybody. So there is an example that some rich man thought that he will give woolen clothes to the poor man. So he got thousands of coats prepared of a fixed size from the same cloth. And he gave an announcement that I will give to anybody who is in need. So when people approached him, he put this same coat to him. Now if it suits him, all right. If it is very loose, somehow you manage. And if it is tight or short, then have you to cut his hands and feet and dimension. Then you go to cold, I cannot manage. Instead of that, if he had kept a big stock of woolen cloth and a tailor, and as a man comes, the tailor takes its measurement and stitches the shirt, coat and gives to him. So that is what Sri Ramakrishna has done. To every man according to his needs, according to what he can. We came across the word in our first or second lecture that is called adhikar. Fitness. Adhikar is nothing external, but fitness, capability of being able to do something natural for him and still it will be spiritually beneficial. So this he wants to find out now. So he asks, are you married? Now, another angle from here is that in those days, in India or in Bengal, people were married quite early in their life. And Master Macha's age, Sri Ramakrishna could have easily guessed. So he is asking him, but even then, if he is spiritually inclined, he might not marry or for any other reason. So he wants to find out first of all, are you married? M. Yes, sir. Fact. Sri Ramakrishna with a shudder. Now this you have to understand. As M reflects afterwards, he is marrying a wicked thing. So what does it shudder mean? Sri Ramakrishna himself explains it later. But here it is mentioned. So we must try to know the meaning here itself. Is it not clear that Sri Ramakrishna did not expect him to be married? It has come as a shock to Sri Ramakrishna. Why? Sri Ramakrishna explains later on. So by now, Sri Ramakrishna has made, Sri Ramakrishna's habit was to judge a man from inside first and then verify it by outside things. And so Sri Ramakrishna has seen, just now we said that he has seen him in Chaitanya's followers. Sri Ramakrishna has seen some higher signs on his body. He could have been unmarried, but due to the prevalent practice, he might be married. That was the question. But all the time expecting that he will not be married. So many things we see in this. I can help him even if he is married. So he is asking the question. But expecting him to be unmarried. Now, as we will find later on, Sri Ramakrishna marked him as a person who will note down all his conversations. Suppose he was not married. We understand the thing only by thinking of the reverse. Suppose he was not married. Sri Ramakrishna could have kept him near him always, and we could have got gospel 5 times or 6 times of what it is. So he shuddered. See, that hope is dashed, one thing. Secondly, he has seen so high signs in him, but he has gone. Of course, Sri Ramakrishna asks further question. That means, as spiritual guidance goes, he is not going to leave him. So, Sri Ramakrishna with a shudder, "Oh Ramlal." Ramlal is Sri Ramakrishna's nephew, priest in the temple in those days, and he must have been near about when Sri Ramakrishna is getting shaved. So generally, this expression is done with somebody who can feel or who can know. So, "Oh Ramlal, alas, he is married. Alas, so he is disappointed in certain matters." Now, effect, like one guilty of a terrible offense, because it is that shudder and that alas, M sat motionless, his eyes fixed on the ground. When the eyes are fixed on the ground, when one feels guilty, he thought, is it such a wicked thing to get married? That means the society at that time did not think it to be wicked. From social point of view, it was very normal. And Sri Ramakrishna he has come for, because he is a holy man, and Sri Ramakrishna is shuddering. So from spiritual point of view, is it such a wicked thing? The master continued asking, "Have you any children?" Now understand this point. In Sri Ramakrishna's disciples, Mahapurush Maharaj was married. Yogan Swami got married. Brahmanji got married later on, but became a sannyasi and stayed with him Yogananda also. Now, Mahapurush Maharaj also. So, if he has married and has no further liabilities, he can be led in a different way. Yesterday we talked of Tukaram and all that. So, if you have children, you have taken a load of responsibility. And then as he has rebuked Pratap's brother, So he will not like him to leave his house. He will not like him to put his children and wife to somebody's care and roam about. So, but he can guide him even if he has children in a different way. So man with a load of responsibility will be guided. Our Shruti, our Vedas, they say is compassionate more than 1,000 mothers and fathers, that is what Shankaracharya says. And they accommodate everybody. So that was what Sri Ramakrishna. He has such a Catholic, liberal outlook, but the methods are different. So in the Bible, you remember, the best teachings are in the Sermon on the Mount, and by mistake the Christians think that is the general teaching of Jesus. But remember, seeing the multitude, he went up a hill. That means he did not want to talk to the majority of the people. And when he was seated, his chosen disciples went to him, and to them he opened the mouth. So, and to you, again and again he says that. As we find in the Gita, Arjuna, by knowledge one becomes free, but to you I am telling you how to work. So, this is a speciality of Hinduism, and this is the extreme speciality of Sri Ramakrishna's teachings. So, different ways. If he has taken up some load of responsibility, then different ways. If he is married, then so many things can be managed. He shuddered because he did not expect him to be married. But he continued because if he is not much liability, then he can be carried in a different way. No, because he has found that getting married is wicked. So he is now afraid of this very question, or might be the tone in which he has asked him. তোমার কি ছেলে হয়েছে? So the tone of the question is such that have you been further loaded with responsibility? So M this time could hear the beating of his own heart. Nerves. He whispered in a trembling voice, "Yes, sir, I have children." Very sadly, Sri Ramakrishna said, me, he even has children. He's not talking to Ramlal now, but sadly to himself. So that last chance of guiding him in a different way has gone. Thus rebuked M sat speechless. His pride had received a blow. He had a pride of being learned, and that has received a blow, and living a proper social life. After a few minutes, Sri Ramakrishna looked at him kindly and said affectionately, so that he should not be much dejected, "You see, you have certain good signs." So Sri Ramakrishna had a tremendous knowledge of physiognomy. By seeing the signs on body, he could understand the man's mind. So that Sri Ramakrishna has seen. And so his expectation has grown. And so he shuddered. I am feeling something else, of course. I am not sure about it, because this is the second meeting only. As I told just now, Sri Ramakrishna could have kept him near himself. That is not possible now. And that Pratap's brother's incident tells us that Sri Ramakrishna will not allow him to leave the house. You see, you have certain good signs. I know them by looking at a person's forehead, his eyes, and so on. And so on. So immediately, conspicuously available is forehead, eyes, etc. Tell me now, here the main thing comes. Tell me now, what kind of person is your wife? You are married, you have children, so you'll have to live with your wife. And for a married man and woman, the biggest influence on life is the spouse. So what type of influence that wife carries? And women and men are of so much different temperament in their life, all are not same. So you must find out now what type of influence the wife has on him. He will guide him accordingly. Now here, tell me now, what kind of person is your wife? Has she spiritual attributes or is she under the power of avidya? Here only one Bengali or Sanskrit word is used, avidya. And those who read gospel only in English or Indian languages where the translation has been made from English, not from original Bengali, will miss a very, very big thing, very big thing. The original Bengali says, अच्छा तुम्हार परिवार केमन विद्या शक्ति ना अविद्या शक्ति. Now Vidya Shakti, the force has not come at all. And in the second part, I don't think that Shakti has come in this, under the spell of power. So, let me try to translate too literally. First thing is that he is using the word Shakti. Entire women folk he is dividing into two categories. The entire women folk, Sri Ramakrishna is dividing in two categories. And one common thing in both the categories is that she is a power. These days we talk of women's empowerment. And Sri Ramakrishna knows that woman is a power, especially in the life of the husband. And what type of power is she? Vidya Shakti. Vidya means knowledge. Knowledge not in our sense of the term. Knowledge means God consciousness. And Vidya means Shakti. That means leading the husband towards God. The power of the woman, will it lead the husband towards God? Will she be helpful to him in spiritual life? Then the guidance will be of different type. Or is she avidya Shakti? That means power of ignorance. Ignorance means opposite to knowledge of God. And Shakti, that means she has the power of pulling a man down, going him away from God. So that is the question. So, what is the translation? Like this, as we have explained. Is she or has she power of knowledge? Is her influence on your life that of wisdom, that of pulling towards God? Because we find also that the whole world being an illusion is defined as Maya, and there also Sri Ramakrishna has divided the scene of Maya into Vidya Maya and Avidya Maya. So though the world is not real, yet certain things in this world help us to go to God, that is Vidya Maya. And certain things of this world pull us down, that is Avidya Maya. So Maya also is called as Shakti of God. So there is a power. So that is the, one day I was talking about denoting and connoting. So the word's meaning has been put in English. Has she spiritual attributes? It is not a question of only her attribute. She has a power. She has an influence over you. So, is she influencing you towards God? Or is she spiritual influence on you? Or she has worldly influence on you? That could be the approximate translation. But that is the Swami Nikhilananji has told in the introduction that no translation can bring you the original. So here is one big instance, and those who are in the class at least. So I am bound to tell when such big things occur. So the original Bengali, I do not know whether Malayalam and all these have been made from English or from original Bengali, and whether so many European languages has gone, whether they have made it from evidently from English. So this is the first main thing. And now Master Masha does not know it at all. And so he interprets it in his own way. Then only the Master Masha's reply will be understood. If you know that Sri Ramakrishna has Vidya Shakti or Avidya Shakti. And Master Masha will understand Vidya means education. Avidya means non-education. Because that is the normal meaning of the word Vidya and Avidya. And Sri Ramakrishna has used this word in a spiritual context. And Master Masha will not know it at all. So we gather it from his reply. So all these questions and answers are judging, handling. That means in Hindi we said tatolna. That is feeling Master Masha's mind. How to take him to God. That is the main thing. We know in our life, amongst devotees, I clearly see before my eyes now. In Nagpur, we had several devotees everywhere. Some people, from the beginning, the wives were hindrances, great hindrances. Some two young boys married after they started getting in the ashram. One's wife pulled him down, the other's wife pulled him up. So all these pictures are there. Now, if it is the other way around, suppose he is talking to women, the question will be of other type. But even then, the Shakti he cannot use for the husband. So this is one great thing to learn, that in Sri Ramakrishna's view, women have more powerful than men. Women are representatives of power. And how we are going to empower them. They have themselves, I don't want to dwell further into that, but the women have themselves deprived themselves of power. Anyway, let that go. But this is Sri Ramakrishna's view. Him. She is all right. But I am afraid she is ignorant, because he has taken Vidya and Avidya in that light. Vidya means educated, Shakti has not understood. Vidya means educated, Avidya means uneducated. And master's wife was not educated. Now, one more fun is that she is all right. That is, again, bhalo. What does it mean? Because Sri Ramakrishna later on in Gospel explains that for all husbands, wives are good. No. What is the meaning of good? From M's point of view, she is giving him pleasure or happiness. That is the only meaning of good. But he can't converse with her on higher matters. Higher means matters which come to an educated man, because she is uneducated. Now, this is not what Sri Ramakrishna wanted. And so Sri Ramakrishna has rebuked Master Masha on this point. She is all right, but I am afraid she is ignorant. Master, with evident displeasure. So M has got the moods in which Sri Ramakrishna was talking. And he has provided us with that also. Otherwise the meaning changes. With evident displeasure. And you are a man of knowledge. She is ignorant and you are a man of knowledge. He has found that he has no basic ideas of spirituality even. So now it will strike him what is knowledge and what is not knowledge. And this displeasure will be another hit on his ego. M had yet to learn the distinction between knowledge and ignorance. We all have yet to learn. Up to this time, up to we come to Sri Ramakrishna, his conception had been that one got knowledge from books. That we have seen from the beginning. Sri Ramakrishna is a great man as he read books. And schools, by going to school, from teachers and from books. Later on he grew up, he gave up this false conception. So he mentions it here, it is false. Later on, he was taught that to know God is knowledge. He was taught that to know God is knowledge in Sri Ramakrishna's company. And not to know him is ignorance. When Sri Ramakrishna exclaimed, and you are a man of knowledge, M's ego was again badly shocked. Master, well, do you believe? So Master is not giving him up, though he feels sad and all that. And he has seen, he has rebuked him, but he is continuing. He is not dismissing him. Master, well, do you believe in God with form or without form? What this question suggests? Two things. One, I told you, that if he believes in God with form, Sri Ramakrishna can guide him. If he believes God without form, Sri Ramakrishna can guide him. But Master M receives it in such a way because of Sri Ramakrishna's, in the same sentence, in the same breath, using these ideas. That means Sri Ramakrishna, what he believes in both, that is the meaning. If he has put both as a choice, that means God can be thought of as without form and God can be thought of as with form. It is evident from the question itself, and that is a shock to Master. M, rather surprised, said to himself, how can one believe in God without form when one believes in God with form? So in Sri Ramakrishna's question, he has found the possibility of both and how it is possible. And if one believes in God without form, how can one believe that God has a form? Either this or this. Can these two contradictory ideas be true at the same time? Can a white liquid like milk be black? That is the idea suggested in Master's mind. But he has to give some reply. M. Sir, I like to think of God as formless. Is it true? Like, is it true? We have seen how happy he felt in Arati and conch shells and Shukadev and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So you must find out why this reply has come. That is the inner instinct, sanskaras. But that is what society was made in those days under the influence of Western education. And the Christian ideas, they taught a man that you need not believe in God, is the Western education. But the Christianity says even if you believe, then God is without form. And apparent reasoning, foolish, ignorant reasoning will tell you that God cannot have form. Because they think by having a form, God becomes limited. So the liking means here only if at all I believe in God, it will be without form because I have been influenced by Western education and Christianity, Brahma Samaj, so long as my outer mental get-up is made. That is the meaning. Because if he likes, how he is so happy about thinking of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda and even Shukadeva. Because Shukadeva is Paramahansa is all right. But that incident about Parikshit and all that, he is continuously talking of Krishna as the incarnation. And now, recent discussion with my friends that there is nothing called Nirakar. Anyway, those discussions will not enter now. But Master's surprise was this. And Sri Ramakrishna has replied, he is not leaving him. He has now found out the full get-up of the man. Keshav, not much interested. Cook, not much interested. Married. Wife influence, he has not found out, only ignorant. He had children. And he likes Nirakar. So Sri Ramakrishna has come upon the point of guiding him. So he says, first point in any guidance is to make your faith firm. Then only you can go ahead. So, Master, very good. That means for him it does not make a difference. Not only that, but it involves that you have. Thakur's question was, do you believe in God with form or without form? That means the question was about faith. Master replied, liking. But Sri Ramakrishna took it as faith only, because that is the original question. So, he has faith in God. He has faith in the formless God. Very good. It is enough to have faith in one, faith in either aspect. That is the point, you understand? Faith. It is enough to have faith in either aspect. You believe in God, he again stresses what believe, faith. You believe in God without form, that is quite all right. That means from this point you can proceed. But never for a moment think that this is Sri Ramakrishna. But never for a moment think that this alone is true and all else false. You like, or you have faith in this aspect, does not mean the other thing is wrong. What happens here? You are worshipping God of your mind, not God as He is. If you think Nirakari, that Sakar is wrong, then that is not God. If Sakar is saying Nirakar, you know, Ramanuja and others have called Shankaracharya as pseudo-Buddhist Nastikas. So, limitation of mind in regard to God is wrong. That is the basic Sri Ramakrishna's teaching. So, here itself he makes it clear. I am ready to guide you. I shall guide you for proceeding according to the Nirakara aspect. But if you think Sakar is wrong, you will never come to that. And that will be limiting the concept of God Himself. That is the great thing in Sri Ramakrishna's teaching. Some people put it this way. Sri Ramakrishna has preached as many faiths, so many paths. Fanaticism is neither a faith nor a path. So if God is this and not that, fanaticism comes. So the master has said, like M, but the master has thought, very good, it is enough to have faith in other aspect. You believe in God without form, that is quite all right, but never for a moment think that this alone is true and all else false. Remember that God with form is just as true as God without form. Remember that God without form and God with form are equally true. If this is true, that is also true. But hold fast to your own conviction. So immediately this also, Ishtanishta. You don't have to travel between this and this. You don't have to change your thoughts. But you must know that they are also correct and proceed in your own thought. That is the greatness of Sri Ramakrishna's teaching, and that is why we are studying this gospel, and that is why the world is enamored of that. The assertion that both are equally true amazed them. He had never learned this from his books. If the books are from Western education, God is without form. And if he has read the Vaishnava's book, God is with form. Thus his ego received a third blow. Because he thinks he knows everything. So that ego is received a blow, third blow. But since it was not yet completely crushed, he came forward to argue with the master a little more. So your ideas, you are educated, so you get a tendency to argue. M. Sir, suppose one believes in God with form. Suppose. Now the Bengali has a little delicate touch here. अज्ञान तिने साकार ए विश्वास जेनो होलो. Jeno holo is different from belief. No? How to translate this? That the faith in God with forms has come to a man. Suppose the faith that God is with form has come to a man, or man has achieved that faith. Certainly, he is not the clay image. Now, that was the main thrust of Western education and Christianity. And that is why Brahma Samaj, Arya Samaj, Prarthana Samaj in Mumbai, they took a stand that Hinduism does not believe in Mukti. We are Hindus. Otherwise, people are becoming Christians. And the Christians say you are idolaters. The Muslims said you are idolaters. So Hindus believed they are idolaters. And so these three big societies, in order to check the influence of Christians, took the stand that Vedas do not tell about Murti. So original Hinduism has no Murti. Now something wrong has happened and we adopted Murtis. So that is the influence on Master Macha. Clay image. Certainly, he is not the clay image. Master interrupting. That means M could have spoken more, but he halted him at that point. Master interrupting. But why clay? It is an image of spirit. Now, how to translate here? Chinmayima. And mind you, in the original Bengali, certain words of Thakur have been printed in bold letters. And this is one of them. A very special idea, na? Matu Kenago, Chinmayi Pratima. Chinmayi Pratima. How to translate this Chit or Chaitanya? Spirit is not wrong, but spirit, what is the meaning of spirit? That not the body. That is the only idea we get in spirit. Something like vacuum, something like air, something like sky, something like the inner reality. And that is why the word spirituality has come. But it misses the consciousness, knowledge, consciousness, awareness. This, how to translate this? Chinmayi Murti. Chinmayi Pratima. So, our time is over. We'll take up this topic day after tomorrow. But in Thakur's mind, the image is not of clay. Pratima itself is not made of clay. Now, our hands and feet, Thakur's body itself is not made of ordinary matter. Well, we'll take it up next time. An important turning point, we'll take it up next time. Om Tava Kathāmritam Tapta Jivanam Kavibiriditam Kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Shrimadasatam Bhuvi Grinanti Ye Bhurida Jana. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.